show where I look at games that are suggested by my most generous Patreons on Patreon. A show where I look at games that are suggested by my most generous patrons on Patreons. It's kind of self-explanatory. Well, last month, the game that I picked out of the box, we'll do that again at the end, was Khemia. I was really hoping they'd tell me how to pronounce the word Khemia in this game. And they never said it. They said mana, or mana. And can we just talk about how cool this case is? Look at it, it's horizontal. Every other PlayStation 2 game on the market, they're all facing upwards, you know, but not Mana Khemia. I think I say another thing before I go into the review. Let me check my script.
Previously on Patreon Base.
I have looked at, The Last of Us, which I thought was an absolutely fantastic game. Watch Dogs, which I thought was a just terrible game. And now, Mana Khemia. What did I think of it? Well, you clicked on the video, know how long it was. Wait till the ending. Impatient. So we start this game as so many others do. A boy with amnesia and his talking cat. It's like the opposite of Anastasia.
Heart, don't fail me now.
So Vayne is just hanging out, and then a man approaches him and says, "Hey, nice cat. Would you like to go to wizard school?" Well, I was planning on dying on the side of this mountain like the dude from Into the Wild, but I can be easily persuaded. And the next thing I know, the principals finish off the orientation speech that he gives to all the freshmen, and then Vayne is approached by a girl. She wants to go around campus with another person who knows nothing about the area. So we do that and we walk around. We see the shops, the infirmary, and the places where we're gonna get our missions. Typical RPG trappings. And then two randos show up and they tell me that they're gonna kidnap me. But then this awesome dude, Flay, shows up and saves me. I just love the confidence and his voice.
Come face the might of Flay.
Richard Epcar. He does a lot of voice work. He was Bobo, the Joker, and Jeddah. Anyway, Flay saves me from the dorks and then takes me to his workshop where he introduces me to a cat girl named Nikki. And then she joins our team. After that, the vice principal comes in and tells Flay that he's completely incompetent and that he has to turn his workshop over to the school. But Flay convinces her that they should be able to stay in the workshop if we can make a Necro Cloth in 2 weeks. However, now it's time for school, and then they put me into some classes. Wait, school? No! I served my time! I won't go back! I graduated! I won't go back now! So the first class that I need to attend is pretty easy. I need to grab 3 ingredients so that I can craft a heal item. And it's here that we get our first taste of combat. Everything's pretty simple, but I learned pretty quickly that making healing items seems pretty needless. Because we got Jess right here. She has this completely overpowered move where she casts a heal spell and then it comes back and heals for like 3 turns, which is incredibly awesome. But we get the stuff, cook up the heal item, and boom, easy A. With Emma Stone. What? An A? Well, this is nothing like school. Okay, maybe this is gonna be alright after all. The next class that we get enrolled in is a combat class. Personally, I would have put people through a combat class before putting them through combat, but hey, that's not how they roll here. They send us to take on a boss monster, and on the way there, we take out a bunch of little monsters. Then we get to the boss and boom, 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 dead. I died. On the second dungeon. Awesome! Whenever I play a turn-based RPG, there's always a lingering fear that the game could possibly be brain-dead boring. But losing super early like this tells me that I'm gonna have to think about every single move in battles. I absolutely love that. No mindlessly tapping X until the end credits roll. Flippin' sweet. So I navigate the dungeon and then find myself the boss and actually use tactics to cut myself a nice slice of vengeance. And then I score another A on the exams. Emma Stone. Well, after that, we are 2 weeks in the game, and it's almost time to turn in that Necro Cloth, and we don't have it. We do have the recipe book, but the final ingredient is in the back of an abandoned building, so Flay sends us in to retrieve it. And so we head in, facing all manner of random battles, and I do mean all manner. There are tons of these battles. They are easy enough at first, but eventually our HP and AP starts to dwindle. And worst of all, it becomes nighttime. When this happens, visibility goes way down, enemies move around super fast, and they deal double the damage. Eventually, we get wiped out, and it becomes clear that this is gonna be a bit tough. one thing that I really liked about this game is, although it's a turn-based RPG, it does everything the same, but it also tweaked things. You see, battles have this cool little card thing in the corner that shows you who's going to attack and when. And this allows you to create some super awesome battle strategies. But its level up system, it kinda sucked. It tried something new, so I must salute it on that front, but it did not work. So in this game, to level up, you open up the Grow book. Then you pop in these items into these slots, and then you can use your EXP to buy little upgrades. Like a little more speed, HP, stuff like that. And as you move further in the game, more slots open up to you. You buy more items, you equip them, and then you can buy skills to become stronger and stronger. I ran into a little bit of a problem with every single character I had, though. I never had more than 3 items unlocked. I mean, I crafted every single item and weapon in the game, but I could never open any more slots. So usually what I got my character at was where they stayed for the rest of the game. So they never got any stronger. I mean, when I finally ended the game, Vayne had over 20,000 EXP. A simple upgrade in this game costs 200, so I never really leveled up. And in this game, that means if you reach a point in this game that you can't really beat, you can't exactly grind your way out of the situation. I think that the biggest problem is that the items sell the recipes for the items, but they aren't very clear with it. Hey hero, you had better buy this item because in 2 weeks it'll be gone and you will never be able to upgrade Nikki. But eventually, I did make it to the enemy. All I had to do was avoid all the fights to save time and HP. Then I got to the boss, who could give me the tuft of hair, and then using tactics, I outdid him. Then we went back to the workshop, and I cooked up 1 fresh Necro Cloth. Then we move on to the next chapter. Not much happens, except we did get a snubby transfer student. Flay really wanted him to join our workshop, but he'd already agreed to join Tony and Renee's workshop, so that's too bad. Now on to my next batch of classes. The first class is Predictology. The teacher calls on me and asks what I would do in a situation if I ran into a really tough monster. And then Vayne says that he would run away, and then she says, yes, but how far? What does this have to do with predicting? So the class assignment was go fishing. Okay, better question. What does this have to do with predicting? So I catch a few fish, and then I get a big fat F. Okay, alright. That's the kind of schooling I'm used to. So, since I got an F, I needed to do some detention to make up for it, and I really like this. Usually in a game, if you fail a tutorial, they make you redo that tutorial. This game actually gave me detention, something kind of boring that has nothing to do with what I failed. So I just went, patrolled the old schoolhouse, and then I walked through, fought 1 enemy, and I was allowed to continue with the game. So the next class was pretty easy. It was a pharmaceutical class, and that meant going and watering a garden. Once again, I see very little pharmaceutical value in this class, but hey, at least I got an A this time. Alright, now for free time. This is where you don't have a scheduled class, so you can actually do like these crew loyalty mission things. I know that's Mass Effect's thing, but it's very similar. You choose an ally, and then you can go do a mission to learn more about them. I'm gonna be kind of brief on them to help the length of the video. The very first mission I did was for Nikki. It was a very simple cutscene where all of the girls in school were mad at Nikki because Nikki is hitting on every single boy in school, and that included their boyfriends. All in all, this cutscene probably took me 3 minutes, and go ahead and hold on to that number, okay? Put it in your subconscious, because I'm gonna bring it up a little bit later. And after that was our finals. Finals? It's only been 7 in-game weeks! Okay, so our final was to make a fiber rope. We have the recipe, we have the ingredients, but we learned that there is a higher quality ingredient on a tree in the top of the mountain, so we decided to head and go get it. But when we were heading on our merry way, Roxas is there, and he's been given orders by Tony and Renee to slow us down, and he does just that. We beat his face in pretty easily, but it meant that the other 2 were able to make it to the tree, grab the ingredients, and then burn the tree down. Toolbox extraordinary! So my character goes and cries because the tree died, but he also wished that it was alive. So the next day we went back and the tree was alive. In fact, there was a little tree spirit and it offered to become Nikki's mana because it thinks that Vayne saved the tree, even though Vayne doesn't think that he saved the tree. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. But after that, we get the good materials, cook up a fine rope, and then we pass the class. Alright. Then I had some free time, which gave me some Jess and Nikki missions. The Nikki mission had us make an anti-love potion, so that all the guys who were crushing on her would stop. Well, it turns out that having 4 people who are surrounding you start instantly hating you, not exactly the best idea. Jess's mission had her blow up our workshop. Then she had to burn the tools that she destroyed to get rid of the evidence. And then she snuck into another workshop and literally stole their tools. Now it's summertime, so Flay sends us on a test of courage. So we headed to all of the haunted areas of the school, and eventually we ended up in the library, which is filled with monsters. You see, there was this one student, but he got scared stiff, and then the monsters carried him down into the library. So we head down, and the monsters are pretty fun to fight, but eventually we get to the end, and there's a ghost character standing over him. She has Flay carry the boy out, and then she has us beat up the monster because he's being selfish and he knows it. It was a tough and fun fight that used up all of our AP and HP. One more turn, and I would have started losing people. But after beating some sense into him by beating him senseless, the ghost Pamela joins our workshop. Well, school is back in session, and Flay mentions that the school festival is going to be soon, and part of the festival is a tournament! And so he joins our group so that we can train for the tournament. And now that I have 5 people in my party, the combat in this game gets rich and complex. It is so great! Much like Jess's healing ability that strikes 3 times after she uses it, Flay and Pamela have attacks that strike several times after they've been cast. But the thing is, they cost AP. However, if you put them in the back lines, their AP regenerates. So you can have them start their attacks, hide in the back, and while your other people fight on the front lines, the other attacks will hit several times. This makes battles fun. Cut the guy up. Then Pamela's lovesick monster comes and strikes the guy. Then, coming in from downtown is Flay's space sword. Oh, it is great! My classes were fine. I do a mining class and I get a C. Then I do a synthesis class and get an A. Also, Flay made a bet with Tony. If Tony wins the tournament, we'll do whatever he wants. But if we win the tournament, the transfer student Roxas will join our workshop. Now it's time to do some true loyalty missions. Specifically, Pamela's loyalty mission. Okay, bring out Nikki's mission timer. Remember that from earlier? 3 minutes? Well, Pamela, how long was your mission? Oh, 3 as well? 3 minutes? That isn't so bad. Oh, no. Pamela's mission is that she wants to make the workshop look pretty. And to do that, she needs 3 items, 2 of which I already had. But the cheesecake? So I didn't have a freaking cheesecake. So I went to every area on the map, hoping it would be an item I could just pick up. No dice. So I went to every single shop, and the closest thing that I found was a traditional cake, but no cheesecake. Well, as it turns out, the traditional cake is actually the recipe for the cheesecake. So I bought that right up, but I didn't have all the ingredients. So I went to every area looking, hoping to find a monster cookie, but no luck. Oh, what about that? It looks like a fish. So I went all the way to the fishing area and spent a good 10 minutes grabbing fish. But it wasn't a fish. It's some Japanese food that I've seen in games and animes that looks like a fish, but it ain't one. So I looked on the internet and it said that I could find the real fish or a monster cookie if I went into the library. But the library is a freaking maze, so I had to go through it twice until I found the right way. And then I could buy a cookie. And then, and only then, was I allowed to make Pam her freaking cake. But at last, it is time for the tournament talk! Flay and I fought the first battle and it was simple enough. But then Nikki brought a note. It was a threatening blackmail. They've captured Jess, and if we don't throw the tournament, they'll hurt her. So Flay tells us that he'll stay here and win the tournament, while we go out and save Jessica. So we head out and make our way through the manor ruins, and fight Renee, and it was a tough fight. And we won after a few attempts, because I had to chug over 20 healing items, which may not sound like a lot, but trust me, it does not feel good winning a battle of contrition. Each character I have has nearly 10,000 EXP. Let me level up! Meanwhile, Flay is fighting in the tournament, but he almost gets eliminated because he's supposed to be a 2v2 and he's only one man. But Flay simply tells the referee that he's fighting on Flay's team now and, well, he accepts. So I make it back to Flay in time for the final battle, but we ran out of healing items and got absolutely stomped. So I had to go back to before I fought Renea, beat the battle again, come back, buy a bunch of healing items, and win the Battle of Contrition by spamming healing items until Roxas joined our workshop. And then it was the end of the school year. So at the freshman orientation, Flay scouted the students for any he deemed interesting. And one girl straight up threatened to murder some of the boys with her katana, and well, that met his criteria. So now we have an awesome samurai chick in our workshop. And then I had 3 classes. Class number 1, gather some fruit. I gathered some fruit, and I got an F. Class number 2, make a heal item. I literally made the heal item that the game suggested, and well, I got an F. Class number 3, use chain attacks in battle. I went and used some chain attacks in a battle, and as a nice change of pace, would you believe it, I got an F. So all of those Fs landed me with 2 hours of detention. It might have been a little less, but one thing that really annoyed me about this game is there is no way to go back and check your objectives. Lots of times I thought to myself, oh, shoot, wait, what area do I go to? The annoying thing is that sometimes it did tell me where to go. Other times, it didn't. I had 3 tasks. Number 1, defeat 10 enemies in the wind corridor, but I also had to go to the end of the resource center, gather 10 items at the old school, and then I slept for 8 hours, and then I forgot where I was supposed to go, so I ended up destroying 25 enemies in the mana ruins, and I wondered to myself, have I soft-locked the game? But eventually, I got past it.
Try not to slack off your assignments.
Or, just a crazy idea here, how would you hire teachers who explain the freaking assignment? Next, my cat tells me that my father was one of the most famous alchemists of all time ever. So we asked the teachers about him and they said, yeah, he went to school here. This one lady said he even once killed a dragon. So we go to meet the dragon and I gotta say, breathtaking environment right here. So we make it to the dragon, but since I haven't been able to get anyone any levels, we die over and over and over again. So I got a game over, and I figure here's as good a place as any to stop. I mean, we're already a good 17 minutes in. So, that's Khemia. I thought this was a really fun game. A bit sloppy, you know? I think it could have been polished to be a lot better. But you know, all in all, I thought the battling system was really enthralling and fun to master. The leveling system, while it does fit the theme of the game, it just doesn't work. The graphics were fantastic, whether it's the portraits for when they're talking, the overworld. I love the little chibis, and then you get in battle, and everything with the graphics just looked fantastic. And the music, I never touched on the music, but the music was really good. Yeah, in the overworld of the school, there's always the same song that plays, and every time I found myself whistling along to it. I don't know the notes right now. I'll have it playing right now. I probably played it in the video, but anyway, yes. Good game. I am surprised that I've never heard of it before today, but for now, I believe it's time to look at the next game we'll be looking at on this thing, but I need to set up my table. And hey, there's the table. So here's all the January picks we got, and the previous picks. Just gotta add those all together. Just a reminder, you know, if you want a chance to have me choose a game to look at, just head on over to the Patreon. There'll be a clicky thing there. There's probably one in the comments. If you want a chance for me to look at a game, just head over there, just throw $1 or $2 my way. I'll go ahead and add your pick to all of these, and if you're a very, very lucky person, I'll go ahead and choose it. Kind of like the pick of this one, which will be Rontokes has brought you Brainlord. Alright, awesome. I will see you all next month. I mean, every 4th video is a Patreon picks, but, you know, that still means there's going to be 3 other videos over the course of the next month that are not Patreon picks.